In this video, we're going to talk about place value and rounding. So if you don't know the rules, place value and rounding can seem terribly confusing. And if you do know the rules, I think you'll find that really it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's take a look at our first number here. So we have 5.1345, right? And so the type of questions that you're going to hear is something like round this number to the nearest tenth or hundredth or thousandth. Like that's about as much as you need to know, right? Tenth, hundredth, and thousandth. And so what happens is right, so like this one right here is in the tenth place. So you're just going to the right of the decimal point, right? You got this little decimal point right here, right? And to the right, so this one is tenth, so we'll just call that T, right? And then you have like a 3 here, yeah, that's the hundredths place. All right, and then you just kind of keep going to the right. The next one is thousandths. So let's, we've already made a mess of things here. Let's write this number out one more time. Okay, so we got 5.1345, right? Okay, and then we just went over like the tenths, hundredths, thousandths place. Okay, and so here's the rules. So like let's say they wanted the tenths place, right? So where our question is like the answer is either going to be 5.1, right? Which means we just sort of leave it the same, or 5.2. Those are the two possibilities, right? So on your multiple choice questions, you're going to have two answers that are not either 5.1 or 5.2. At least we want to eliminate those, right? Those are the only two possibilities. We're not going to be able to round up to 5.3, or most likely you'd see like 5.23, right? So the tenths place is only going to be one number after the decimal place, right? Those are the only possible answers if it's to the nearest tenth. We'll worry about hundredths and thousandths in a second. Okay, so how do we know which of these two answers it is? Is it 5.1 or is it 5.2? Okay, so when we're looking, so we have 5.1, and then you always go look at the next number, right? So in this case, the next number is a 3 here, right? And the question is it 5 or greater? So if this number is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we round up to 5.2. If it's 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, we keep it the same. We round down to 5.1. Okay, so the first time you're really experimenting with that is it can seem a little bit confusing, but there's really nothing more to it than that. Okay, so this little guy. Okay, so what if it's hundredth? Okay, so if it's, we have 5.1 if it's the tenths place. If it's to the hundredths place, right, then we have our possible answers are going to be 5.13, right, or 5.14, right, rounding up one spot. Right, those are our two possible answers. Anything else that you see besides those two, eliminate them. They have to be wrong. Okay, now really we're going to do the same thing. So we have 5.13, and then what's the very next number, right? The very next number we see right there is a 4, right? And again, remembering if it's 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, we don't round up. If it's 5 or greater, we do round up, right? And so because it's a 4, we don't round up. 5.13 looks like a great answer, right? So that's our answer if it's round to the nearest hundredth, 5.13. And then finally we'll have thousandth. Okay, so right, we see 5.134, right? That 4 is in the thousandths place. And then, but if we were going to round up, it would be 5.135. Right? And so that's going to be our question, is which one of these two is it? Okay, so now we're looking at this 4. Should it be a 4 or should it be a 5? Right, that's really our question. And then when we go one decimal place to the right, there's that 5. Okay, and remember, if it's 5 or greater, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, then we round up one. So, right, so rather than keeping it at 5.134, in this case, we round up to 5.135. Okay, so 5 or greater, round up, right? And then it's just knowing that we start off with tenths, hundredths, thousandths, just moving to the right. Okay. From here, mostly it's just needing a little practice at it and just knowing those basic rules, and then we're good to go. Okay, so let's see here. What else do I got for you? Okay, so let's look at a couple numbers here. So we go 5.44. Okay, and they say round to the nearest tenths place. Okay, so again, when we're doing something like that, they say tenths. There's our tenths place right there is a 4, and then we look one spot to the right and we see another 4. So we don't round up, we just keep it at 5.4. Okay. Now what if instead though it was 5.45? Okay, so again, and it said round to the nearest tenths, right? So again, there's our tenths place right there. One spot to the right, there's that 5. 5 or greater, we round up. So in this case, we would round up to 5.5. Okay, and then we have one other type of question. Let's get that eraser out one more time. Thanks for sticking with me on this, guys, right? It's important that you get it. Questions just like this will show up on the test. Okay, so what we've been doing is round to the nearest tenth, hundredth, thousandth, right, with like a th at the end. But there's also questions where it'll say round to the nearest hundred, nearest thousand. Okay, so let's look at a number here. So we've got 1,567,300. Oh, sorry, 345. Got ahead of myself there. 0.1458. Okay, it's a big number. Okay, 1,567,345. Okay, so we're going to have 3 questions. Okay, the first one is going to be the nearest hundred. Okay. Okay, so for the nearest hundred, when we look at that, 1,567,345. So what we have here is like, so this 5 here. So we have, now we're going to the left of the decimal point, right? Where before we've always been going to the right. Okay, this is called the ones place. And then moving to the left, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and so on. Okay, and so when it's 100, we're looking for the hundreds place. And this is a 3, right? Okay, and just like before, we go one spot to the right. Right? Look here. If this was a 5 or greater, round up. 4 or less, round down. Right? So it's a 4, so we round down, and so that means we're going to say 1,567,300 will be our answer. Right? So we round, like when it's to the nearest 100, we're either rounding down 100 or up 100. So the answer is either going to be 300 or 400. Those are your only 2 possibilities. So 1,567,300 or 400. Those will be your 2 possibilities. Okay, and what if, going back to the stuff we learned earlier in the video, which is probably the more likely question to show up, what if it's hundredth with a th there at the end? Okay, round to the nearest hundredth, what is that? Okay, so remember, really we just have to make sure we find our place here, right? So it goes tenths and then hundredths, right? So that 4 is in the hundredths place, right here. That's the hundredths place. And then our very next number is that 5. 5 means round up, right? And so that means we're going to have that 1,567,345.15, right? Because we are rounding up, right? So it's all of this number doesn't change. 1,567,345. So it was either going to be 0.14 or 0.15, right? So because the next number is a 5, we round up. All right, so that's place value and rounding. Really, it just takes a little bit of practice, and again, knowing the basic rules. Always finding the right spot, going one decimal place to the right. If it's 5 or greater, we round up. 4 or less, round down.